I'm Scott.
I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Lewis. Welcome to a little roundtable chat about Battle for Earth.
Yep.
Dave, Battle for Earth.
Yeah, it's here at last.
That's a book that we did, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a book. It's a hell of a book.
It's almost 3 books, let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. 304 pages, full colour. Almost a piece of art on every single page.
You don't have to tell me. I put all that
Yeah,
art in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely to see the thing at last. You know, I've only had this in hand for like 2 days.
Yeah.
So this is very new for me too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We only give it to you when you're good and ready, when you've been a very good boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks great, I think. It's a couple of years worth of work, isn't it, overall?
Yeah, easily.
It's something that you guys started back at Hawk Days.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. 2.0 rules
Yeah,
for Drop Zone.
2.0 rules. Some of the
back at Hawk.
artwork, but not much. Like the general overview of what it might be
Yeah.
was prepared way back when, but
Yeah.
it's been worked on ever since, and all the miniatures in there and everything, of course, have been.
Yeah.
That's all I've been doing since I started it.
Yeah,
TT,
pretty
just
much. Yeah.
Sculpting miniatures and writing background for this book.
I had a couple of people. We had Games Expo last weekend, of course. I've had a couple of people asking me there, like, how much did Dave do? And I was like, well, it's Dave's idea. And they're like, yeah, but you know, with Earth and all of that sort of thing. And I was like, no, this is something that you've wanted to do for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I was saying, like, as sort of melancholy as it is, it's sort of the Hawk Swan song, isn't it? It's sort of everything that you were building towards. For the past
whole
sort of 5 years.
Yeah, it's the culmination of the ongoing storyline up until this point. It's a major kind of. I wouldn't say it's the end point because it's an ongoing narrative, of course.
Not.
But it's the end of this chapter in the narrative overall, and it's always been planned to happen like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I remember we talked about it a couple of years ago, didn't we? We were saying we've got these sort of 2.0 beta test rules, and we've got a few things which we'll get into for Fleet as well.
Yeah.
And then you said there's this big story that you've been building towards, and we're like, Dave, just tell us that, tell us what it is. And you sort of said it, and I was like, why don't we do a whole thing? Why don't we do a massive book with everything in it?
Yeah, because it was originally the only real thing that's changed is originally there was going to be a phase 3, and then there was going to be this. But we sort of sat down and talked about it, and I thought about it some more. And really, all phase 3 was going to be was a massive, great big build up and teaser.
Yeah, sort of prelude to Battle for Earth.
So it's kind of people having waited a while for a book. It was like, well, let's do the whole thing in one hit.
Yeah.
So,
one thing people have really been reacting to positively at the weekend as well was that it's new. There's a huge amount of like expansion to the lore, but it's a book for Fleet and Zone together, so you don't have to like. There was a small part of expansion in the Drop Fleet book, and for Zone players they had to buy an entire book, which is a very savvy business move on your part.
Well, it is, and also I wanted every new book to advance something. If it's the newest
absolutely.
book, it's the newest point in the timeline. So there was sort of the Drop Fleet book had half of what would be phase 3 in it anyway. So it takes you that far, then this takes you further. I mean, there's there's about a novel's worth of content in this book, and I wrote nearly all of that, not all of it, about 97% or something. And that, so I wrote it all almost in one hit. It's like sit down for weeks and weeks and weeks and just blast away at background, which is how I've done it for all the previous books. It's how I like to do it. Just sit down and write and get it all done. Then it's consistent and tied in nicely with everything else.
Yeah, I thought it went really, really well. I think there's only a few things that I came back to you with as well. Like the sort of, you do your story, and there's a few things in there, like we talked about sort of expanding the entire universe and sort of setting new status quo, didn't we?
Yeah, so there's new things like the galaxy map,
which is something that first time we've had a map.
And that was done here, and then I saw it, I was like, hey, that's cool. That's about right. Because it's how I'd envisaged it, in that there isn't like your classic, there's the UCM, there's the Scourge.
No, it's sort of throw it to
everyone's a little bit everywhere.
It's an FTL based instant transfer thing, so the planets are just all over the place.
It doesn't really matter where they are.
And you see that in there, and that's how it's supposed to be. There's a timeline that a few new little teasers and added things got added in there that's got not a lot to do with the narrative in this book, but I like to throw in little teasers as well. Read it and you'll see tons of little things. You'd be, oh, what about
especially
that?
Especially that timeline. Like there's,
there's a bunch of things in there as well.
There's things particularly, I sort of poured through the old books and I was like, oh, there's a few things that sort of loosely mentioned in here. And there's a few more things that we're like, there's definitely space for a few other things to go in.
I mean, the timeline's over 3 or 4 pages.
4 pages.
So there's quite a long timeline.
And it starts at sort of mankind going to the stars for the first time, all the way up to
present day.
The culmination of Reconquest 3 or Reconquest 2 going into Reconquest 3.
Going into this, exactly. And there's also the book actually does a lot of work for new players as well. In that if you're completely new to all of this, don't worry, in that the book will take care of you, and that it's basically got a summary of all that initial background that you used to get in the old core book. Yeah. Everything in phase 1 and 2 narrowed down to the key important bits. And a race summary for every single faction. So what they are, what their motivations are, where they're based, what units they use, everything like that.
Even that's been sort of moved forward since the very first.
Exactly. I took all the original content and refined it, rewrote it. You know, I'm frankly a bit of a better writer than I was back then. So
well, you've also got a whole other game to play on with it.
Exactly.
There's a lot more stuff that you've introduced that you've thought about that was sort of it's always there in the background, but
these things just grow naturally over time, and there's plenty of that. So as far as new players go, if you're looking to enter this world, this book is your gateway.
I mean, it has everything. We've said before, we have people asking, should they pick up the version 1 book, should they pick up Reconquest 1 and 2, and we're like, yes, please, do so. We've still got some of them left.
I mean,
it's got the Reconquest 1 and 2. I think particularly go into the very specific sort of war aspects of those battle fronts.
It doesn't,
which we don't really need to go into there because it's that's done. It's very interesting, but
it's expanded on in
it's in brief. It's probably there's 10 times more detail in phase 1 and 2.
I think the summary for what we can say is that this one starts off saying the year is 2673.
So January the 1st.
Like
that's where
new
we
status quo. That's where we are. New timeline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So new players, this is good, but also phase 1 and 2 are still very much worth opening for that reason.
Yeah.
It's obviously Drop Fleet's first expansion. So you do need the Drop Fleet core book first. But then obviously this adds to that. And
there haven't actually been any changes to
the core rules. No, there's a few new core rules that you get in any expansion, but it's not Fleet 2.0 or anything.
Yeah, the sort of the new core rules that are in there. There are a few in there that we've seen a few before, and we saw some in the Adepticon errata as well, which will make their way into the game in the future to your factions. But as it is, it's sort of it's standalone. These are additional units, additional rules, additional fleets, everything in there.
And watch this space for more videos as well, because we're going to do one specifically on rules and content for Drop Fleet, and another one for rules and content for Drop Zone, which is why we're not getting into any detail here.
Very much.
Probably one thing to really touch on here as well is the artwork, which I mentioned before. But Hulk, book 1, the original core book, it was literally just me in a garage, and it's all miniatures photography. There's almost no artwork because the 2 pieces were bodged by me, and I'm not a very good 2D artist. You can kind of tell. And then obviously we had artists on board and we had artwork, but there was always limited budget, limited time. The previous books had a whole lot less than this does. What this does do is bring in the very, very best from the previous books, the cream of the artwork.
A lot of things from the special edition rulebook as well.
And some which a lot of people didn't have and didn't get to see. So we spent a lot of time on the artwork for that.
I mean, I went through and I had. There's hundreds of pieces of artwork that we've got now. Patrice, he's worked incredibly hard on the book. And I basically got to go through and cherry pick all the best things.
All the best things.
I mean, there's pretty much a piece of artwork on every single page.
Almost.
Almost every single page.
And full colour. I think they're basically all full colour as well, which is lovely to see. And some older ones that were black and white before.
We've gone back. We've got in-house artist Ray, and her and I went back and digitally recoloured things. It provides a little fresh perspective on things. There's some things in some of the black and white ones that I didn't even know were there until they were coloured in. I was like,
I mean, visually, it's way, way, way superior to the previous books. There's no question about that.
Go on.
It's much, much prettier, and the art content it really adds to it. I mean, any narrative needs artwork, and also both games being small scale, you lose the human aspect, which is why I've always valued artwork in a book, because you get all that sense of involvement in the universe that you perhaps don't get from a 10mm miniature.
I mean,
that's just how it is.
We've got the first sort of silhouetted picture of Salakan.
There's a lot of that, and even silly things like what weapons fire looks like. What does a Scourge plasma cannon look like?
Absolutely.
All these things that you don't get from miniatures that artwork gives you. So we certainly haven't skimped on that, and it's years worth of art in this book, and I'm very pleased with it. I mean, I don't do the art, but we do the art. We kind of share the art direction. You've done some, I've done some, and you know, some of it comes straight from Pat or other artists, and
Yeah.
it's a very much a collaborative, mixed
Yeah.
approach. But
Yeah.
the results are very good. I hope you'll agree with that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable blowing the trumpet on the artwork because I don't do it. It's like I can say yes, it's beautiful because
Yeah, like it looks really a lot better than what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah. I, you know, really at the beginning of this project, I didn't actually expect it to be quite as involved and quite as pretty as it's turned out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kudos, I think, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
And I hope you'll agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think that's about as much we can say without going into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
And then
so
rules
should we sign off for now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks very much, everyone. We'll be back again
Cool.
to talk about some drop zone rules and some drop fleet rules as well. So tune in on TT Community.